Good morning, everyone. My name is Dee. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here for this daily astrology report for December 18th. 2020. So it is actually the morning of the 18th, as you can see by my sleepy eyes. It has snowed quite a bit where I am, and so my schedule has been a little out of whack in terms of shoveling and helping the neighbors shovel out their driveways. But now everything is I don't want to say it's back to normal because that's not ever happening again. There will be I don't even want to say there's a new normal. It's just we take it one absolute moment at a time. But we are at the morning of the 18th here on the East Coast of the United States, and our moon is still in Aquarius today. It will be in Aquarius all day into tomorrow morning when it will move into Pisces. And today, you know, already the energy feels it feels very anxious and very, it's the frequency is starting to increase, right? The wavelength is getting shorter, right? And we can feel things happening. So this moon in Aquarius right now is actually really very helpful because it allows us to be aloof in a certain way and not emotionally detached, because it's through our emotions that we are able to connect and be coherent with Aquarius. But it's not feeding the emotions, the lower emotions. It's not allowing them to be the only lens in which we view the world. We use our emotions with Aquarius as a tool, right? It is using our feeling in order to be in coherence to natural law and the world around us. And so when the moon is here, and people who have a moon in Aquarius usually do present some sort of aloofness emotionally, and it's really not a detachment necessarily. It's just that particular set of traits with the moon representing our emotional landscape and our intuitive channel is using the feeling as we are holding the water, just like the Aquarius archetype is the water bearer. We hold the water and we can feel, and we use our feelings as a means to balance. So this is important today because it can be really easy to either completely detach, which would be kind of the darker side, or the negative aspect of a moon in Aquarius. We can just detach, or we can get really caught up in the frequency starting to increase, right? That wavelength getting shorter, the frequency getting faster, which can be uncomfortable, and it can lead to some anxiety. So it's important that we are staying grounded through this whole thing. So as we can see, the sun is still in Sagittarius. Mercury is just about to catch up to the sun. They will conjunct tomorrow, pretty much right over the galactic center. And with the sun, it is the light within us, right? It is that center of our internal solar system that gives us our own light, and it's the full expression and fulfillment of who we are as an individual soul is the sun. And Mercury is now catching up to the sun, and so all of these areas of collective values, belief system, and as we get closer to the Capricorn time, what we can actually manifest and create from those strong values, those beliefs, those philosophies about life, the understanding that we have, and the alchemy that is really what understanding is, the mental alchemy. So Mercury is catching up and going over all of this territory that the sun had just passed over in order to, we're getting a strong mental acuity with this. It's coming in through the communications, it's coming in through our mind, it's coming in through the information that we interact with. And so when Mercury finally meets the sun, it will be a really strong opening already for communication. and really quickening the communication, making it sharp, making it bright, making it illuminated. And also, in conjunction with the galactic center, we're going to get a lot of codes coming in, a lot of codes coming in that we will be a very open um, vessel in order to bring in. So leading up to this point, we are getting, the sculptor at work. This is where the sun was yesterday, and now Mercury is here. And so while we felt that expression of our internal individual perspective in some sort of physical way, now Mercury is showing us how we can actually put it to action with our mind. Like, we can start developing a plan for it, and we can start understanding it in an objective and an intellectual way. So there are some interesting transits with the moon today. Like, in terms of astrology, it's actually kind of I wouldn't say a down day, but you can tell that it is kind of a prep moment. And there are not a ton of transits happening, whereas tomorrow it's a big day because, like I said, the conjunction with the sun and Mercury, the galactic center, and Jupiter will enter Jupiter will enter Aquarius tomorrow as well. And then the moon will move into Pisces, basically um, squaring Sagittarius stuff. Venus will trine Chiron because now she's in Sagittarius. So tomorrow we'll have a lot of stuff going on. So today is kind of laying the groundwork within us in order to kind of prep for these moments. So what is going on today besides Mercury catching up with the sun? Well, we can see here that the moon is going to be in a trine to the north node. Venus is going to sextile Pallas Athena, who's also in Aquarius, and I want to talk about that too. Juno, asteroid Juno, the wife of Jupiter, wife of Zeus, is moving into Sagittarius today. So that is also very significant because she's moving into Jupiter's home sign, right? She is coming home to meet him in a way. Now, he is going to be obviously moving into Aquarius tomorrow, but she is now moving from the realm of the depth of understanding. This time with Juno and Scorpio has really taught us a lot about who is on our side, right? The thing about Juno is that she represents committed relationships and marriage and partnerships, but she also represents betrayal and jealousy and envy, right? Because she always stuck by Zeus, but she was also very vindictive when it came to his extramarital activities. And one really good example that I brought up in the report for the solar eclipse was that Ophiuchus, the sign, the constellation of Ophiuchus, the god of medicine, the snake charmer. One of the stories that explains and characterizes that constellation is that it is the baby Hercules in his cradle, and Juno sending the snakes to kill him because Hercules is half immortal. He's the son of Zeus and a mortal woman, and Juno wasn't having that. And so she went off to kill him, and it didn't work, obviously, because Hercules is one of the most famous Greek mythological figures in the whole cosmology of their their religious and spiritual practices and ideologies. So Juno has in Scorpio, we have really learned the depth of what it means to be in these relationships. What does commitment mean? What does loyalty mean? What is betrayal? Because that's a big part of the Scorpio energy. Loyalty may be more of the Cancer energy because it's about the familial bonds and where you belong and the land that you're part of and the connection you have there. But with Scorpio, it's about the shared experience and the power dynamics involved. And she has absolutely given us a lot of insight into betrayal and the depth of these relationships and the power dynamics. And now she's moving into Sag, which is the home sign of her husband, her divine counterpart. And so this is going to take all of that depth, and now it's going to be put to alchemical use, okay, and supporting whatever Jupiter is doing, moving into Aquarius. And again, talked about this a lot in terms of, you know, either way, Jupiter is going to expand on this ideal collective situation. His eagle, Aquila, is coming to him, bringing the thunderbolt, and he's going to throw it. And it's going to energize one particular aspect or another, and that's going to become very crystallized and structured when he meets Saturn, and they come together. So Juno moving into Sag today is changing the dynamic in terms of commitments and partnerships, and what betrayal really means, and what loyalty actually means. Okay, so Venus, like I said, in Sag is in a sextile with Pallas Athena. She is in Aquarius. So this is the goddess of strategy, war, and wisdom. She is coming ahead of Saturn and Jupiter into Aquarius, and is setting the strategy, right? She's looking ahead, she's strategizing, she is making plans for various particular moves that they can make, right? When you are in playing chess, right, it's not often very linear at all. Actually, you have to think very, you have to think beyond linear movements, because you have to consider all of your moves all the time and all the outcomes could be. So she's in Aquarius now, using that genius, using that laser focus and intellect to really hone in on, the path is narrowing now in terms of the moves that can be made. And in this degree that she is in today, it is really a very strong disciplined use of spiritual energies to restore natural harmony, right? And that's what Aquarius is about: natural harmony, natural law, not so much what humanity creates, but being in coherence with natural law. And so she's being very disciplined of using her energy to restore natural energy. And in this sextile to Venus in early Sagittarius, this is teaching the children to walk, right? This is this is about the natural assistance during a crisis of growth, right? This is the moment children learn to walk on their own, and it's with the assistance of an encouragement from their parents. But you don't teach a child to walk; they are hardwired to eventually get there on their own, and it's the parents and the caregivers that support that process. And so this is in our relationships, in the world that we value, the aspects that we value. We're going to go through a very critical stage of growth, and Pallas Athena is using her discipline, spiritual energies to bring us into coherence, and that will support this stage of growth, very critical stage of growth. But the individual is not left alone in this crisis. That is where the parents or the caregivers come in. They're encouraging the child, they're assisting the child, but the child does learn to walk. And we certainly are learning to walk on our own when it comes to who and what we value in this world. Okay. Now, with the moon in Aquarius, there are two major transits today. Number one is the connection to the nodes. And so there's a very karmic aspect about where our destiny lies. And the moon is in trine to the North Node, right? There's this mission accomplished vibe here, this answer of spiritual agencies to um, sustained individual efforts. It's kind of like, again, like a white dove, getting the white dove message. And it's absolutely in supported connection to where we are headed. Okay. This is a really good opportunity to get back into our own inner emotional landscape, using our feelings as a way to naturally be in coherence with the world around us, and to acknowledge and to see the signs today, right? There are going to be signs today to show us that where we are on the right track, and we can feel it on the inside of us if we if we so choose, if we're able to do that and not getting caught up in everything outside of us. There's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of things about to happen. And but just know, if we can get in line with ourselves and natural law, this is very supported, and supporting our path forward right now. It's also supporting where we've been, right? But it requires much more of a participation um, if you want to connect this feeling to where we've been. We kind of have to take some action if we want to do that. Whereas this requires no participation for it to be balanced. And I think this is the way to go today. Um, and then the moon is going to sextile Mars, of course. And this is, again, another aspect of self-discipline with Aquarius, intelligent development of individual faculties under training, proper training. And it will, again, sextile Mars, that is at a point now where the inner fulfillment is very much here. The masculine aspect, the feminine aspect is coming together within Mars, and is showing us that we are able to be fulfilled within ourselves, and to not necessarily direct our action internally, but to feel the fulfillment within us first before we act on it, rather than acting on things and hoping that that is going to fulfill us. The fulfillment comes from within, and then we act from that space with Mars. And if we self-discipline, again, will really support this, and emotional self-discipline, and using our intelligence will really support this. But we actually have to use our intelligence and self-discipline, in order to get the most out of Mars. Otherwise, we'll act out and looking for inner fulfillment by our actions, as opposed to the other way around. So this has been, this is not new. So, but this will become something that will be very strongly felt today, that maybe we have been doing this, and it will be brought to our attention today. If we've been self-disciplined and using our intelligence and the development of our intelligence, and training ourselves, because we will only really, I mean, the highest version of this right now, like I said, is feeling the fulfillment and acting from that. That's going to be the highest version of Mars today, but that requires us to have been training ourselves emotionally, intuitively. And there are a lot of there's a lot of potential today for outside forces, to different parts of our psyche, to sabotage us and get in the way. And that can really spur Mars to act not out of inner fulfillment, but in an attempt, a desperate attempt to find that fulfillment by acting. And it really doesn't work that way. So that's the astrology for today, the 18th. I would encourage you to come over to Facebook if you're so inclined to be with us for the daily medicine at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can always catch it on the replay as well. And this is going to really, that reading is going to add to this so much in terms of where we're headed and the energetic alignment that we find ourselves in right now. We have to heed the call, and we can do that as long as we're in coherence with natural law and not being kind of led around by our emotions or the drama outside of us. Man, that is so strong right now. So take care of yourselves. Please consider subscribing, hitting the like button. This helps the algorithm get the information out, reach as many people as possible before YouTube's not an option anymore. And everything else you need is in the description box below in terms of social media, email. Check out the website. There's an email subscription list on the website that you can access, and we can all stay in touch that way. So take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next report.